Today, we saw what happens when Americans fight back against disastrous policies. Americans made their voices heard. Donald Trump rescinded the OMB order. Now he should rescind the nomination of Russell Vought. When the Trump administration announced this awful directive on Monday night, we knew immediately it was short-sighted, disastrous, cruel, and dumb. It was clear then, as it is now, that the directive was given without any comprehension of what it actually called for, let alone the ramifications on literally hundreds of millions of Americans. And the American people are outraged from one end of the country to the other, and it is clear that President Trump and his minions are feeling the heat. Did President Trump know he was kneecapping cops and firefighters from purchasing literally life-saving equipment like bulletproof vests and breathing gear? Did President Trump know that he was destroying Puerto Rico's assistance program, leaving 1 million Americans hungry? Did President Trump know that he was essentially shuttering community health centers, rural hospitals, food pantries? If he didn't, Democrats made sure he learned it real quick.
They took back what they said. That's right, folks. We've got some big news in federally funded sizes. Just minutes ago, Donald Trump has rescinded his decision on a federal funding freeze. Mematorium into 513, which was just put out yesterday, faced intense backlash. Now, if you don't already, go ahead and follow me on all of my social medias in case this app goes bye-bye. Links are in the bio. This left people confused and afraid because would this impact their SNAP benefits? Or what about our social safety nets, childcare? The list goes on. The Office of Management and Budget has walked back on this decision, instructing people now to seek legal counsel for further guidance. The immediate reversal signals that the Trump administration wasn't really aware of the logistical and humanitarian fallout. Naturally, federal employees were caught off guard, which also have them concerned about the stability of the federal government and its operations. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Were you impacted by this? Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, when the news hits my desk, I'll be sure to keep you up to date and in the loop.
Would you look at that? Speaking up works.
After Donald Trump placed a pause on all federal spending, today he woke up and realized he was in deep, deep trouble, and he decided to rescind the executive order. Dated today, January 29th, 2025. Look at that. Rescission of M2513. OMB Memorandum 2513 is rescinded. If you have any questions about implementing the president executive orders, please contact your agency general counsel. In other words, Trump backed down. This is a win. It's what happens when we fight back. Yes, when we fight back. Congratulations, MAGA. Congratulations. We just saved your rear ends once again from the hands, from the evil clutches of your dear leader. Now back to what I was doing.
I won't deny it. I'm a straight rider. You don't wanna fuck with me. Got the police.
You Trump supporters.
Alright, y'all, so we got a new update. So apparently the Trump administration was facing so much backlash that they have now rescinded the memo that said that they were going to freeze federal aid. So now they are not freezing any of the federal aid. That memo has been rescinded. So I guess we're good now, because remember I told you guys yesterday that a federal judge actually stepped in and blocked him freezing the federal aid. So now they've just rescinded it entirely. So there's that. So let's see what else comes down the pipeline.
More amazing news. Did not expect this shit to happen, not gonna lie. So the White House rescinded the federal freeze. All fucking ready. It's not even been 48 hours. Did not expect to say this, but I'm actually incredibly proud of the government right now.
We have some major breaking news. Donald Trump has rescinded his executive order pausing all federal assistance programs. This is the official order rescinding it, saying, quote, OMB Memorandum M2513 is rescinded. If you have questions about implementing the president's executive orders, please contact your agency's general counsel. And the decision to rescind this directive came shortly before a federal judge in Rhode Island was set to consider a request by 22 mostly Democratic-led states and the District of Columbia for a temporary restraining order blocking that policy. So this is a huge win for now, and it's because all of you out there used your voices, called your representatives, talked about it on social media, and spread the word about how devastating this would be for tens of millions of Americans. Now the question is, will they try again? Will they try to do this through another mechanism? And I think that's probably likely, but I'm going to be tracking this and see what the Trump administration does in response. So if there are any major updates, I'll make sure to let you folks know. And of course, if TikTok gets banned, my Instagram, my YouTube, and my Substack are linked in my bio. That's where I'm going to be.
Breaking news, the Trump administration just issued this. They are rescinding their executive order, which basically put a pause on all federal funding. Now, a lot of people were saying and messaging me that this was pausing rental assistance, student loans, all this sort of stuff. And it was not. The White House said it wasn't. But now they are pulling this executive order. Experts say most likely to take a better look at it to make it more better, to make sense and to get better messaging on this, because it was confusing among many people. So whatever the issue might be, Head Start, food assistance, housing assistance, that is all happening. It is all in place. And the White House now just pulling this executive order. You'll probably see a new one, a new executive order, because they want to go through every single department and make sure there's not government waste, because you can imagine there's probably billions of dollars being wasted, and that's what they want to look at. Make sure you're following me. I'll give you updates when I get new information.
So Trump rescinded his executive order that was unconstitutional. Because it's unconstitutional. Yet MAGA was defending it because they don't care about the Constitution. They're going to keep doing things, and they're going to keep going to court. And they're wasting taxpayer money by doing things that are unconstitutional. But all of a sudden, MAGA is not going to care about all the money we're spending, because, like always, anytime a Republican is in power, the national debt doesn't matter anymore. But as soon as Democrats are in power, even though they're lowering our deficit, they think the fact that we still have a deficit means that Democrats are wasteful spending. Every single Republican administration ends with higher deficits. Every single Democratic administration ends with lower budget deficits. Clinton was the last one to have a surplus. But every administration since and before has deficits. Republican deficits are way higher.